Valin. Hi. Can you hear and see us?
Hi guys.
How's it going?
Let us know if you can hear us.
There's always a little delay, and we
Yeah.
just stare at the camera like
Losers every
waiting.
single time.
Every single time.
Because we totally need to know before we start talking
Oh
like
yeah, because it has
people.
happened so
Yeah.
many times for us to be here talking, singing even sometimes.
Hi. Thank you.
Hey, happy birthday, Joff.
Happy birthday and happy Easter, everybody.
Yeah.
How are you guys feeling today?
Yes, loud and clear.
Good.
Too loud? Do you hear the truck outside?
Yeah. That's
Just-
loud.
yeah.
For us it is. I think it captures more this side.
That's good.
So
Yeah.
sometimes not even the dogs is like they're very, very low.
Yeah.
It's only annoying when I'm recording meditation section.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh
Then
my
you need
God.
to edit.
Yeah.
Try.
Gotta cut it out.
Yeah. No truck.
See?
Good.
That's great.
I think it's also because of the frequency of the sound.
Yeah,
because it's not
I think
like-
it doesn't
yeah.
capture
It's like these leap.
as well.
This-
No, David cannot see or hear you. That would be a violation of your privacy.
Yeah. Happy to be here. Happy to have you here.
Yay.
Feeling happy and at peace. Life is wonderful.
It really
It
is.
is.
So we're channeling Yeshua today for you guys. Of course, it's his day, one of his
Yeah.
days. He claims many days in our calendar as his days, and we just let him because we are all here mostly because of him. He doesn't like me when I say that. It's because of us, all of us, but he's the doorman. So he connects us. He brings us all together in a way. So I think it's appropriate. And I absolutely love channeling him, of course.
Yeah.
So I was connecting with him this morning and checking what he wants to talk about today, if he has like any theme that he wants to go for and anything in specific. And he gave me a few things, but he didn't give me too much because he wants to answer your questions. So for the next hour, we're going to be basically going for your questions and things that you want answered. Make sure to, if we don't answer your question, to copy and paste it, please, because it's easier than having to stop the chat because it's too much. Because we like to see the interaction and everything, and if we need to, follow, it doesn't allow us to do that. But in any case, so Yeshua wanted to talk about surrender, how today is still a remembrance of surrender, and he wanted us to wonder about what it means for us. What surrendering means to you and what it brings to you, what kind of energy it brings to you, what emotions and feelings and thoughts it brings to you. Because each one of us, we have a different perspective of surrender, and he is the master of surrender. I feel like in that lifetime as Yeshua, that's the thing that he wanted to accomplish the most, and I feel like he really, really did, which is surrendering. Surrendering to his role, to his wishes before his incarnation, and things like that. So what does surrender make you feel? And he can dive deeper with you if you want, in why, to help you figure out why you feel these things around surrender. So he wants you to be the first one, Flavia.
Of course.
The
it
first guinea pig. The only guinea pig, he's saying. So what does it mean for you first, he's saying? What is surrender?
I feel like complete trust, and because you completely let go of control, just like or the perception of control, and you need to trust whatever it is that is to be.
And what does it make you feel when you think about surrendering? What does it make you feel? Stella is giving so many kisses.
I think that the first feelings are a little uneasy,
Mhm.
and um, it's like it's somewhat scary
Mhm.
because you don't know. It's
Yeah.
like completely unknown. Yeah.
And then he's saying that's the first thing it makes you feel.
Well, once you let go,
It
whatever it is.
is, right?
Yeah.
Because what else? So he's saying that that's most people's perception
Yeah.
and experience with surrender. At least that. Uh, like Sarah is saying that it makes her feel unsafe. It's kind of the same thing. It's like because you don't know what it's going to be, and it's not important. That's what he's saying. To know what is going to be, it's only the only thing that matters is knowing that you're always held, you're always supported, you are always loved, you are always guided, right? And whenever we are called for that surrender, it changes everything, of course, because it's such an active technology to work with. That's how he's explaining it, why it feels so challenging for some or most of us, because it is a very active uh, technology that doesn't allow you to take action at first, right? So he's saying it's a paradox and it gets a little confusing because of that. Um, because it's by no, is that, that happens so much with Yeshua. By not doing anything, you surrender
Mm.
to your own divine will, right? Or by taking a course upon guidance, but then just letting things be. But what generates from that surrender is utter change. And even though we are not only motivated and created by and from change, we still fear it. As humans, we still fear change, even though sometimes we know exactly what's going to happen with that change and we want it and we like it. We are still very aligned with some untruths we told ourselves regarding change and what it means, and the whole idea of control, like Flavia said, and what it means to us as humans to have control. And every time that we feel like we are losing that control, we feel scared, we feel threatened, because it's what you've learned, it's what you taught yourself. So surrender goes against most of your instincts, even sometimes against your intuition, depending on the case, on what that thing is wanting to teach you. But through surrender, you can create utter change and new beginnings and new opportunities. And that's the second thing he wants to talk about. But we are going to unravel a little bit more about surrender. Let's read what people are saying.
Yeah. Let's see. Would love to hear more from the Master of Surrender. Lately, I've been doing my best to align surrender to the present moment.
And he wants to know, what does that encompass for you
Yeah.
in that present moment?
Yeah. She says, feels like trust, flow, presence.
But he's saying, as you are using that technology of surrender, how does it look like for you? And he's wondering that for all of you. He wants you to get engaged, basically, with this. How does it make you feel? What does it mean for you? And what do you do when you want to surrender, basically?
You have to trust the divine to surrender.
Yes, he's saying absolutely. You are the divine, though.
I usually feel like I'm doing it, then frustrated that I have not completely released it.
But what does it mean to release? What is it that you want to release? Releasing and surrender are not exactly the same thing.
I give most everything I worry about to God. It really helps. It is scary and refreshing.
Yes.
Letting go about timing to trust. If it's from the heart, it will come.
True.
Surrender feels like letting myself be carried by the water instead of having to swim so hard to keep my head above water.
He's adding to that. He's saying, I'll add to this vision. Utter surrender is becoming the water. It's knowing that your course is always there. So you don't, it's not about letting a force outside of you control your life, because there is absolutely no such thing. It is becoming that force and trusting that your plan is perfect.
Feels like releasing resistance. Surrender feels so raw to me, a hard thing for me.
He wants you to wonder why. Why does it feel hard?
The only time I feel any kind of surrender is when I meditate.
And how does it feel when you meditate?
I love the idea of surrender and always try to get in that mindset. However, I don't feel I could live up to the examples of surrender as found in spiritual texts. Afraid of losing body, even though intellectually I know I'm more than the body.
Because the point is not to lose the body, he's saying. And you don't need to go as deep as some beings, such as myself, went to not only experience but demonstrate that surrender. It's not needed. So he's saying that surrender is not a mindset to get into. You're using too much of your mind here to try to understand what it means, and it's great. It's great that your mind is playing a role with you. Surrender is a technology, an emotion that we can use, that is in our disposal here. So don't look from outside. Don't look for spiritual texts. Don't look for other people's experiences around surrender. Try to find it within you. What does it mean for you, and not what you read about someone else's experience?
I say surrender to the divine, but
I surrender. I say I surrender.
I say I surrender to the divine, but I think I subconsciously keep one hand on the wheel.
Yeshua is like, well, but what does that mean?
Yeah. I ask myself, is the present moment really that bad? It helps me surrender and flow. Surrender
It's
is
like that's a way to alchemize it.
surrender is wonderful, exhilarating for creative flow.
Yes, he's saying absolutely. Because you get in line with everything your soul is telling you to do. And once you train enough that surrender, he's saying it doesn't feel as scary anymore. Every once in a while in your life, you're going to have a bigger experience that you could use surrender in, a bigger experience that would allow you to create that momentum for great change and greater alignment. But day to day, you can train that surrender. You can train that technology to become something easier for you to flow with.
To me, surrender is like giving up and not doing enough. I'm learning to let go and trust.
He's saying giving up and not doing enough are all egoic ideas. Surrender comes straight from source. Surrender comes from love. So your mind is telling you something about surrender and what it would give you instead of love. It's not about letting go or giving up. It's about being. He's saying, for me, surrender is utter acceptance and awareness. Awareness of who I am, what I want to be, what I want to create, and acceptance that my human is not only capable, not only deserving, but here to do those things, here to accomplish those things. Because if a thought is ever a thought, if a wish is ever a wish, it comes from that creative place within you. So there is nothing that can stop you from that but yourself. So for me, surrender is utter acceptance and awareness. It's like becoming the waters of your soul.
You seem to be describing a shift from duality to oneness.
He's saying some communities have described it as such.
Let's see. When I did I? Okay. When I
Yeah.
surrender, I hold the truth that the best outcome will be. I allow the flow to just happen.
Yes, he's saying we tend to experience these technologies as action based realities that become, and that's perfectly fine. So, most what he means by that is that most of us feel surrender to be an outcome, right? If I surrender, it's going to happen like this. So, everything is just going to flow for me because I am in alignment with my truth, with myself, with whatever it is that I said I was going to do here on earth. So, everything just happens perfectly and I am able to accept that. He's saying those are um, action based things that even if the universe is delivering them to you, they are part of even being human. So if we think about it like that, he's saying all of those things, all of those actions, if we think about it from this spectrum here, that's actually all of the things you can do, you can experience, come from you being in a physical vessel. If you look at it like that, maybe you can start accepting that you are human and you are perfect. And that's what surrender gives you in its totality.
In order to feel safe to surrender, is it good to release resistance to what you fear about the consequences?
He's saying it's always good to release fears. It doesn't matter where they come from or where they are telling you they're going to take you. But how? How do you release fear? The method in which we allow things to develop for us makes the difference between how we are utilizing surrender or not. And there's a balance as well. He's saying he's not telling you to just lay there and let things be, because sometimes we are in a body, we are taking action, right?
That's
It's not
maddening.
about yes, it's not about just shoving your head in the sand. There is a saying about this, I think in Portuguese we have, and letting the world happen around you. It's not about that. It's about identifying those things that are not in alignment, of course, but the act of surrender, he's saying it comes in that one moment that you know that you've done everything that you could do, that you've humaned, he's using it as a verb, it as much as you could. But there's that jump, that leap that you just need to let go, because you're never going to truly 100% know what that next step is because you are here. And even though we tend to think a lot of the past and wonder a lot about the future, none of it really exists. We are here now, and we have absolutely no idea what tomorrow is going to bring, even though some of us, some of you, he's saying, are prophets and you can see the things. You can't 100% know every single step that is going to happen. And the need for such is your body telling you it doesn't feel safe. It's your mind telling you that it doesn't feel safe. So the first step towards that surrender, the first action based thing you can do is actually find ways to help your body and your mind feel safe. So, yes, releasing that resistance can help, but how do you do that? So, he's giving you another method. It is finding ways to help yourself feel safe. Because once you feel safe, what is fear? It doesn't exist. There's no space for it. Bless you, he said. Bless you, my darling.
Thank you. I say to myself, Yeshi, take the wheel. I surrender to the will of the divine. Be
He's
the
showing
fence.
me. He's showing me that he is you with the beard, and that's the
Oh,
Yeshi taking the wheel, because he's saying it's great to have that awareness that the divine is taking the wheel. It's
yeah.
so important for you to remember you are the divine, that nothing is taking over you. So for some of you, it's not everybody, but for some of you that have that need to control, that's where things feel very itchy with surrender. He's saying that's what your mind, that's the paradigm that the mind created. That for you to surrender to that divine, you need to give your power to something else, right? You need to give to that thing, that entity that doesn't belong in you, that isn't you. So that's what your mind is telling. He's saying for each and every one of you that have any issue with control issues, that's what happens. It is your mind is telling you that that thing outside of you is going to take over. That being your higher self, that being you understand that it's your heart, it is your soul, there's still that distinction between you and that other thing. So the technology here, the method here is to remind yourself that you're not only safe, but you are that divine. He's saying it's not me doing it, it's you. Every single thing you want to do is you.
Breathe and let go. I surrender with trust and love and compassion, and I feel peace. To me, surrender equals to no resistance. Our ego is comfortable as it loses control, or isn't? I don't know. It's like opening up totally to any eventuality. Trust is knowing that a challenge or a blessing are both a blessing.
That brings me to the quote that he wants me to share with you today. Because the next thing that he wanted to talk about was opportunities and new beginnings, because we are entering this phase. Thank you very much, Susan, for
Thank you.
your super chats. Anyone else that wants to do that, we very appreciate it. So we have this quote from Yeshua. It's a very long quote. Can you see? This is Yeshua in my life. It's like everyone else is a quote like this much.
One line.
And then he's like, let me talk. But we love when he talks. So he says, every circumstance, that was a hard word to say. Every circumstance is an opportunity for something. Every laugh, every heartbreak, every win, every disappointment. Everything holds the infinite potential of your creation. Therefore, everything is an opportunity for growth, an opportunity for more love, an opportunity for a brand new direction that can very well lead you to unimaginable joy, abundance, and unconditional love in your relationships. So, my inquiry for you today, my loves, is this: can you feel it? Mic drop. Can you feel the opportunities when you surrender? It's not about knowing what it is. It's not about trying to change it. It's not about doing anything. He's asking you, can you feel the energy of the opportunities? He's asking you, Flavia.
Yeah.
And everyone else. He's saying that's all you need to connect with, to allow surrender. There are thousands of other technologies and techniques and methods. He's saying this is all you really gonna need.
Love listening to this topic, learning a lot. Thank you, Yeshua. Yeah.
He's saying thank you.
He's great with words, isn't he?
Right?
Yeah.
Such a master. Bom,
Uh,
não, mais pra cima pra gente ver as outras coisas.
But it's about surrender.
I know it's okay. I just want to take a look if he wants to
Answer something specifically?
Yeah, it's okay. I just wanted to mention that because it was so directly connected to what Maria said. Thank you, Maria.
Here. I had a moment where I asked Yeshua to take the wheel of my life. Yeah.
We're going to talk a little bit about that. Well, maybe we can talk about that now because the blessing that we have after this, if you don't know, we are doing a blessing with Yeshua on Zoom, and you can sign up. Did you put the link in the description?
In 1.5 hours.
Yes. And he's going to talk more about the meaning and everything behind that. but he wanted us to know what he said, that we are that. We are the wheel, we are the hands, we are him. And he is so present in us. And he plays that role for us. That's in his agreement with us, with humanity, with each and every one of us, that he is going to be that beacon of light for us, that he is going to be that remembrance of all we can do, of all we can be, of everything we can even accomplish, and we can do even more than what he did. But that's his agreement. And he said that that's one of the things that he had a really, really hard time to surrender to, that role, because he knew, of course, that people would see him as something above them, as something more than what they are and who they are, because of that, because he said yes to that role that he plays for us, to be that beacon of light and hope and joy and potential. But he said that it didn't matter, because he's still leading us to the direction that is within us. Because in his soul, in his awareness, in his individuality, he knows he is not better than us. He knows that he is not above anybody. So it doesn't matter. So that's the conversation that he needed to have in his head, with himself, is that it doesn't matter if other people are going to see me as higher, more developed, more aware, more God than what they are, because it's not true. And at some point, we are all gonna, allow that to be our divine truth, that we are all divine. I need to sneeze so bad. Give me a second, Yashi.
It's because you're doing this, my nose is itching now.
Maybe it's gonna come out for
Human
you.
body.
So he knows that, right? That we would end up saying those things like, take the wheel, Yeshua, as if we are not him. But in his soul, in his heart, in his individuality, in everything he is, he knows he is. So it doesn't matter. It's his role to us. It doesn't matter how long it's going to take for us to realize that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because he's still living life through us. He's still there. And that's the role that he said that he would place for us. So even though he says, that I am you, he's still going to play that role. If you still want to visualize him as that being doing that for you, however it is that you see him, it doesn't have to look a certain way, whatever it is, he's still going to play that role. He's still going to show up and give you peace and give you, help you feel that love and that acceptance that he feels through you as you. So that's what he wanted to mention today, that he speaks through so many channels, right? I say something that I saw once, and I always remember that everyone and their dog can channel Yeshua, because he's so accessible, right? Because he's so present with us, and there are many, many people channeling him, and he comes through so many different levels of awareness that, yes, some are different, some are, most of us are different from each other, because exactly that, he wants to reach different levels of awareness. But he still plays that role, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how we perceive him. It doesn't matter how we accept him. It doesn't matter how we see him. He's still playing the same role, which is being that beacon of light for us, because we want him to. And he is just going to keep doing it for thousands and thousands of years, because that's his agreement. So he's saying that that's the biggest thing he needed to surrender in that lifetime, because he understood that he wasn't better than anybody. But he also knew that people for thousands of years would be talking about him as if he is that, image up there, and he couldn't care. He needed to teach himself, yeah, that he couldn't care about that, because it's part of his role. So he doesn't mean for us to feel less than him. That's exactly the opposite. But he's gonna play whatever role we want him to play, because he loves us that much.
I want to embrace and embody my divine feminine power and trust it, but I feel if I completely surrender, I will get taken over. What do I need?
He's saying to use that technology that he talked about here. Can you feel that shift as being there? The opportunities that come with it. Go back to that, maybe, if he's saying.
I can't feel surrender. Imagine opportunities around the corner. It feels odd to me that I can't seem to feel surrender.
Well, he's saying that, thank you, by the way, for the super chat. Itsuma, right?
Yes.
He's saying that you are a very mentally guided person, and so was he. So is he. And that's not something to shy away from. It gives you power too. It's just about considering other things. So, like he said here, that every circumstance, even this, for example, that you can't feel surrender, you can't even connect to what surrender is for you, it's filled with opportunities. And if you can think about anything at all aside from it, if you get anything at all from anything, that's an opportunity. So he wants you to expand, basically. He wants you to go deeper into what it feels for you. Alchemize that.
Is surrender like being like letting go of things that you can't control while acknowledging what it is you can do to feel good in the now?
He's saying those are all action based things. Those are all outcomes or even pathways that can lead you to feel surrender. But they are not surrender itself. Surrender is, again, in your life, the way that it expresses itself to you once you surrender, it's a very action based technology. But to let those things happen, surrender itself is non action. It is acceptance. He's saying that's the easiest way I can say what it is. But again, it's just my perspective, he's saying. You might hear different things from different beings. So, what does it mean to you?
Yeshua, is there any guidance or ways to be patient while we wait for the manifestations to come into reality?
Find something else to be busy with, he's saying. If that's what your mind and body want you to do. Just sitting around and waiting is one of the things that really, 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 really annoy your human for most people. So change the perspective of it. Do something else. Why can't you have fun now? Whatever it is that you want to manifest, you know it's coming, right? You know it's there. You know it's part of your ability. That knowing, that's all you need. So go do something else. Go have your fun. Go find joy. What gives you joy? That's the way that you can do, to help you. It's not about having patience about it. It's about not obsessing over it. So, what can you do for fun today? How can you support yourself?
Ego wants to tell us that to surrender it is to be weak, but Spirit tells us it is our greatest strength and power to fully surrender and trust that everything is in divine order.
Yes.
Yeah.
Beautifully said, my love, he said.
um, Surrender seems to be opening up for expansion.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's move along, he's saying.
Yeah. I'll go down there.
Mm-hmm.
Can you explain this masculine rebirth I'm feeling within me?
Why you're not reading like the first one? I'm so confused.
Because you
Where is
said
it happening? No, but I mean,
this first one?
yeah, he wants to answer that first.
Okay.
I don't know. What?
Yeshua just said
I
he
didn't
would-
even hear what you said. He's
Okay.
just like, let's do another one.
Yeah,
This is
sure.
my best Yeshua voice, by the way.
Wow.
Sorry.
Yeshua just said, wait, no, it's scrolled. He would do anything for us. Will he incarnate again so we can see his love in this 3D world?
He's saying, what gives you the idea that I am not here? And why do you keep calling this world a 3D world? Why such harsh definitions? And he's saying, I know you hear this a lot from me, that I am within you and I was born when you were born, each and every one of you. But do you think that your, and he's quoting it, 3D world need that much drama as I created in my lifetime? And why? Why would you believe such a thing? If you change your perspective and you allow yourself to simply see how divine you are, it's all about you. And he's saying, not just you who asked the question, every one of you. Every single thing is about you. So, my point is, you experience your life through your own eyes. If you think I need to be reborn to bring love to earth, it's because you cannot feel the love within you. It's because you cannot love yourself as you think I could if I was alive. What if I tell you I was born when you were born in your body and I'm here open armed, waiting for you to accept my love? That goes for everyone wondering about that, he says.
In the moment I feel one with Yeshi, the frequency helps so much to alchemize, empower, and align with unconditional love. I'd love to align with this knowing more.
I know, right? It's the same thing for me because sometimes I get very busy with life and everything, and we don't channel him as often as we used to. So I was connecting with him this morning, and I'm like, first of all, he's the easiest being for me to channel. It's always been like that. Um, and every time I connect with him, I'm like, oh, yes, life is easy. All of this is easy, you know? So just sit with him. Basically, that's what he's saying. Because he's always there. And we know that. And as we know that, we tend not to give him too much of a voice. We tend not to, because he's there, he's a part of us. But again, he plays such a beautiful role for all of us. And he's so good at it. So maybe it's just about bringing that to our awareness more. That he's there and he's so willing to talk all the time.
All the time.
He's saying it sounds a lot like you are complaining.
I'm not responsible for how you understand things.
That's my girl.
In your time, Yeshua, how
But now there's another question before that you
Okay.
didn't answer. You see how he
this
is?
one now?
Yes.
Can you explain this masculine rebirth I'm feeling within me?
Can you explain?
This masculine rebirth I'm feeling within me. I feel the rebirth is a collective one as well, so I felt guided to ask.
He's saying it is, and we go through that in various times, and we all tend to feel it in our own timing because it's still happening. But as the whole, as you call, ascension process on earth now is so individual, it's so personal, not individual, personal is a better word, he's saying. It's different for all of us. So he's saying you're feeling it now because you're ready to feel it now. And a lot of other people are also feeling it now because they're ready. Some people have felt it and some people still will feel it because their rebirth is still ongoing because it's a wave. It's wave after wave after wave. And we are still in the midst of that wave. And yes, it feels like a tsunami most of the times, he's saying. So who's not feeling that yet, he's saying, brace yourself. And he's laughing. And if you already are, just be nice to you and see what that means for you. See what that brings to you. Because yes, it's true that this rebirth is occurring. We are giving birth to that divine masculine again, so we can refocus our action, because the divine masculine is that action based, right? Surrender is a feminine energy, 100%. For example, because taking action is masculine. But you see, even as he explains surrender, it's a balance with both. And he's saying that I can't even express enough how important it is to find that balance. You see this in many different teachings with many different terminologies. But this balance of masculine and feminine is imperial. Is that the word you want to use? In this moment, to allow both of them to play their true role for you, to understand that you come from both, you create from both. And it's the way that we chose to create on earth through polarities, and how perfect and beautiful and loving it is. It has nothing to do with shadows or darkness or bad. He's saying it's neutral. It's just how you create on earth, how we create on earth. Everything is based upon that, if you think about it. Imperative. That's a good word too, Joff, he's saying. So find your technologies, find your techniques, your methods to connect with both divine masculine and feminine within you. It's really important that we do. Because again, he's saying, just giving one example, you are recreating a whole paradigm, right? In so many different ways, in so many different words. But we are, as a whole and as individuals. And although creation comes from the womb of the feminine, the actions that come after are wholly masculine. So, how do you want to experience things? He's saying how you are taking action, how you are creating in the physical, how you are manifesting in the physical, how you are taking your steps, how you are anything that is in your physical reality comes from that masculine within you. So it's a reflection of that masculine. So what is that masculine for you? How does it feel? Are you in peace with your masculine? Are you in alignment with your masculine? Are you in love with your masculine and with your feminine? But as we are talking about masculine here. So it's really important. He could talk about it forever, so he's not going to, because I'm telling him that's enough.
When we are complete in ourselves with perfect self love, what is the purpose of us being separate bodies as many individuals?
He's smiling, he's saying the purpose is to have fun. The purpose is to keep creating, to keep experiencing, to keep seeing, feeling, touching, tasting love. That's the purpose of being human. Again, he could talk about this forever, but
Yeah.
I'm going to tell him to chew.
Dear Yeshua, I'm just 19 from the Philippines. How can I remove fear permanently? Because I'm former Catholic and I still have religious trauma like judgment and punishment.
Well, he's saying that it's been, that reality has been present with you for all your 18 years at least, right? All of that Catholic foundation was built. So he's saying the first thing is take your time. You're young, you're vibrant, you're full of love, you're full of wishes, you're full of life. So don't forget that day after day, if you focus on love, if you focus on what's loving for you, all of those former fears, all of that trauma and judgment and punishment just falls away, because you don't need to believe them anymore, because you're loving yourself enough, because you feel safe in you, because you feel safe to be you. So day after day, self-love is the road here, he's saying, for all of us on earth. Right now, it's 100% a mission of self-love for the whole of humanity. And he's saying that his beloved is the one to talk more about it because Mary Magdalene is the ambassador of self love, I'll say. So focus on that, is what he's saying. And day after day, just remind yourself that you are worthy, you are lovable, you deserve all you want to have, all you want to be, your life, your perfect life. And just keep being loving to yourself day after day. Don't forget that. That's how you remove those fears. Because sometimes it's not about just going, diving deep into that fear and understanding what it means. Da, da, da. He's saying it's just love yourself now. Love yourself every day. And you see that at some point you're going to look back and you're going to be like, oh my God, this was a trigger and now it's not triggering me anymore because you can't care. You can't. Zero shits to give because you love yourself enough. He's saying, so are you.
Just scroll a little bit.
We have another quote from him, and that's a very short one.
Right.
That he wanted to kind of, bring to the end. He said, "You are alchemists on earth. Make good use of it." What does that bring to you, my loves, is what he's saying. What does that affirmation bring to you? You are alchemists on earth. Make good use of it, of your power as an alchemist.
You got it.
I was like, okay. And by the way, Vincent, I was raised Catholic as well. And I absolutely understand. And day after day, just connecting to what is true to you. Now it's just me talking. Whatever rings true to you, and sometimes like the fear and the idea and the judgment comes and you need to ask yourselves like, okay, but is this my truth? Is this how I see and experience Yeshua? Is this how I perceive him? Or is it, right? So maybe ask yourself. I got a quote from Mary Magdalene today, Susan, that we're going to post soon. That is basically the same thing you just said. Like loving yourself is the most unselfish thing you can do. Yes, absolutely.
I feel a calling to enter one of the darkest arenas of human experience, domestic violence. Can I ask you for help on designing a questionnaire for men and women to shine a light on why it happens and etc.?
Okay, I'm going to have to read it again.
Yeah.
He's saying, absolutely, you can ask me. The good thing about Yeshua, just me talking, is that he has that divine masculine energy and divine feminine energy so balanced. And he comes through looking as what we would assume to be a masculine, right, on earth. And we still have such a strong associations with what the divine feminine is and the image of a woman with a divine feminine and the vision of a man, of a male with divine masculine. And he's saying that it's still time for us to work with these ideas instead of against it. For most of us, for some of us, we can disassociate, but as you are working with a bigger audience, it's easier to go with it. And the good thing about Yeshua is that he comes through as a male, I'll say, but he has such a loving, kind, divine feminine essence in him that it's easy for anyone that has been traumatized, any wounded person, I'll say, any wounded individual feels at ease with him. If there are no religious triggers, of course, because there's that too. So finding that the other, because for example, not every being comes as soothing as Yeshua, right? Halo, for example, he triggers the hell out of people, most people, doesn't matter if a masculine, feminine, whatever it is that we want to see it, he has that catalyzing essence that Yeshua doesn't often bring through. So working with Yeshua in this is perfect idea. To what is the English word for enaltecer? Empower? I would say empower the divine feminine in other people so they can forgive themselves for what happened, basically. So yes, he's saying, call me and I will help you step by step.
Exalt.
Yes, exalt the feminine. He has that energy, at least through me or for me, he does.
Yeah. Thank you. I really feel that there is more to it, like a more expensive creator than a man sitting in the clouds.
He's saying, I like that. Keep going with that. So he asked about the statement, right? And some people are answering like,
Yeah.
you are an alchemist on earth. Make good use of it. What does it make you feel?
It feels empowering. It tells me to be mindful of what I'm intentionally and unintentionally creating.
Yes.
I have something on my throat.
Okay. Probably popcorn thingies.
Yeah, because I can feel it, but it's like, it feels like dry.
Maybe you want
Let's
to
see.
cry a little.
Not really, not right now.
Do you want to tell people what you felt about Easter? Can you please tell people what you felt about Easter?
But they weren't with us.
Not
Sunday.
everyone was,
No.
but a lot of them were with Sarah. Well,
I'm
let's
not
give a
usually I'm not usually very.
no, let's give a little before. As we were channeling Sarah for the book the last time, she gave people like an ultimatum and an inquiry, right? What does the whole scene with the resurrection makes you feel, right? And she
Crucifixion.
was saying,
Yeah, it was a crucifixion, right?
crucifixion, yes.
Yeah.
That's what I thought I said, but it was not. I said resurrection. The crucifixion, what does it make you feel, you know? And she's saying here now, it's like, if you want to play along, play along. And then Alana, she was facilitating. She said that she was feeling okay, and then Sarah kept pushing. It's like, okay, but how does it feel? I don't remember what it was because I was asleep. I was not participating
You're
fully.
in trance.
Yeah, but Flavia said that she didn't feel anything, and then Sarah kept poking her a little bit. It's like, but do you really not
But here's the
feel
thing:
anything?
you talking about it now made sense because I don't feel about the crucifixion, but I do feel about the resurrection.
What's the fucking difference?
There's a lot of difference.
But one thing can only happen if the other one happened.
Okay.
You know, so you're just justifying because Flavia said that she didn't feel anything. She was completely neutral about it, and Sarah was having none of it. You know, and she was like, "Okay, let's go, let's move."
And usually I'm not very sentimental about Easter. Just like there's no like anything.
Yeah, because it's never been put in a spotlight for you. That's what Yeshua is saying. And then Sarah came and she was like, let's put it in the spotlight. Let's see if, you take a little while. For two things I just realized. First of all, it took you 3 days, quote unquote, 3 days, right? It took you the whole freaking week because it was last Sunday, but 3 days. And your reactions are always 3 days late.
Yeah.
You're 25. That's what Yeshua just said. So let's just move on. But in any case, so Flavia, as she woke up today, she came to me and told me.
Because I've been feeling a little emotional this weekend already. And like, okay, it's a whole thing. That's fine. But then I was drawing last night in my piece, all good. And a friend of mine, because it was already after midnight, so a friend of mine texted me and I just see this message popping up like, he has risen. Happy Easter. And that got me so emotional. I started crying a little. And I was, like a loser, drawing like, why the hell am I crying?
The drawing, what is
it's for breathing, a breath. Like, yeah. God.
So
there's also the story ends there.
My point's proven.
Yeah.
Okay. But that's
I didn't even
cool
tell her that
because
she got me like that.
Oh,
that
yeah.
I had this reaction. I forgot.
But I mean, Sarah is such a powerful activator that there is no not feeling something, and
ridiculous.
It's good that your deeper emotion was with something else, right? It was not exactly the crucifixion, but she's saying you can trace it back to how it makes you feel because of that. And there's a whole process there that we're not going to dive into this right now. So Such powerful alchemy, guys. Like Yeshua was saying, you are alchemists on earth right now. How are you using it? How do you want to use it? How much of a good use are you making of your alchemy right now? He's saying Flavia clearly is enjoying hers. And that's beautiful. He's saying we're not just he wants us to clarify that we are not just throwing her under the bus and letting her. He's saying that both of us, like Flavia and I, we play roles as well, for the collective with these things. And she's so pretty. Stella is sleeping here. And it's really interesting how we play these roles and how we activate you guys as well. Yeshua is very, very excited, very proud of you too, Flavia. It's like, congratulations, my love.
For being sentimental.
Yes. For letting yourself feel.
Wow. I feel a lot. I feel all the time, everything very intensely.
So exactly. He's saying
Yeah.
exactly my point. Exactly Sarah's point when you said that you don't feel anything about the crucifixion.
Yeah, feel about the resurrection. Sarah crucifies Flavia, and 3 days later, her emotional reaction is resurrected. Yeah.
Yes, Don, that's exactly what happened. Well, she took a week, but let's pretend it was 3 days. On record, you say it was 3 days.
Yeah. Because also, because I was very focused on work during the week. And then I was like, I'm taking, kind of Friday and Saturday off. So it's just like me by myself. There was that too.
That's when you gave yourself
permission.
Space, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Super cool, guys. Super cool.
All right.
What? Oh, she's so pretty, guys.
Yeah. She's so sleepy. Like any place she lays her head, she's like, oh, okay. Yeah, we're talking about you. Yeah. It's so cool. You have the mugs. I received my mug recently, of course, with the personal twin flame art by Lightworker613, and I love it. Maybe I'll post a pic in Discord. I love it too.
Yes,
yeah, show us. We got some stuff coming on the way for you.
Yes.
Let's see. I know Yeshua is a very powerful manifester during his time. Like, he can almost instantly manifest things. Any tips, Yeshua?
He's saying it's because I let myself do that. I allowed myself to believe in that possibility. That's all. He's saying that the only thing that keeps us from instant manifestations is the whole dialogue that goes in your head and your emotions. That's one thing. Did you hear my throat?
Yes.
That was weird. And he's saying that he mastered feeling happy as well. And he's saying, of course, I had an amazing life. And then he's showing me his wife and kids. So he's saying it wasn't all that hard for me to be happy. That's the other thing. To manifest, you need to hold the frequency of joy, basically. That's how you can manifest 1,000 things at the same time very fast. I need.
Yeah, sure. Can you describe how your higher self works? Our higher self works.
As you, through you. My God, guys, I'm sorry. I need to fix my chair. So basically, your higher self works as you. He's saying they are a piece of you now. The idea that there is something above dictating what happens to you is insane, right? That being a God above you, a higher self above you, it's all within you. It's all within your cells, within your own molecules. Every piece of you, there's not one tiny piece of you in any experience, in any dimension that is not God. So your higher self works as you, through you at every single moment. You create as a human with or without the awareness of your higher self. And that allows you to experience love, to experience, and him, with love, he means everything in the physical. So, as a human, you have the choice to either experience your higher self or not. Doesn't mean that your higher self is not there. Doesn't mean that your higher self is not, quote unquote, working. It always is. Through different people, even sometimes. He's saying sometimes your higher self is working through me, here now, giving you this message. Sometimes your higher self is going to come in the form of a dog. And it's not going to stay there forever, we say, and it still is there always, because we are all part of the same whole. Is he making any sense? Sometimes I need to stop him. I'm like, where are you going with this? So your higher self works as you. The thing is that your higher self has the full script, I'll say. He's saying, oh, I just triggered a lot of people now. As if there is a script for your life. And it's not one script, it's like 1,000, a billion scripts, because every single thing you think of and feel and experience branches into another timeline. So to get into this would be to get into explaining timelines. And we do not have that kind of time today. But your higher self has a full picture. He's saying, let's say like that, that's better. A full picture of the things you want to create and how you get to those things and how you are experiencing your life. So basically, your higher self is you without the ideas of limitation. Does that answer your question?
Could I ask Jesus?
What?
Here?
I understood you saying Chris, Jesus. And I'm like, what is this?
What language am I speaking?
He's
Could I
totally
ask
saying
if-
that my mom asked something.
Yes, she did.
And we can look after that.
Okay.
You can look as he's answering.
Could I ask Jesus if he has a personal message for me? So I've been calling on him a lot lately.
Well, we're not really doing personal messages today because it gets really overwhelming for me, and we have a blessing with him after. But he's saying, keep calling. He's always there. And he's actually saying, you don't really need to call. I'm always there. It's just a matter of you allowing yourself to feel and to see. And from experience, he tends to come as a very subtle energy sometimes. He tends to come more through your heart, through a feeling than a vision or anything like that. He wants to activate your heart center before anything else. Basically, that's what it means. So doing things to allow yourself to feel more, allow yourself, he's making me take a breath, so he's telling you to take a breath. And that goes for everyone that wants to connect with him deeper. He will come through an emotion, a feeling, that inner, feeling way more at first than anything else. That's how he chooses to activate us to receive him in that awareness of what we want from him, if it makes sense. But in any ways, he wants you to be able to feel more deeply when we are connecting with him, because that's how he feels. He feels everything all the time. Oh my God, dude's been crying the whole day here with me too. He makes me cry all the time. And I too was emotional this morning, as I was connecting with him. And it's more related to the blessing that we're doing later, because he wanted to receive the blessing before I could guide other people to receive the blessing later today. And he makes me cry every time. It's only when I'm channeling him like this that I'm not crying, because my heart is wide open as I'm connecting with him, because that's how he likes it to be. And that's how I allow myself to receive him. So in any other scenario, every time, because that's how I experience deep emotions, crying. That's why I'm saying this. Maybe for you it's just going to be laughing, maybe it's going to be something else. Sometimes it's like just feeling so much love for everything. And for example, the reason why I cried during the channeling with Sarah for the book, it's because I felt what he was feeling right before the crucifixion, like right before he was taken, actually. and connecting with his heart and feeling the amount of love that he has for everything, how much he loves earth and everyone. You can't not cry. Like your body just bursts. It needs to find a way out. So however that is, so don't be afraid to express those emotions once you really open your heart for um for those deep emotions. That's when you start experiencing him in a different way. That he comes as a vision and he shows up in person as well. So there are many different ways to experience him, but that's the first one he wants to come through, because he really wants us to open the heart.
Do you want to read in Portuguese or in English?
In Portuguese. No, read in English and I will answer in Portuguese, and then you translate.
Okay. So a person told me that Jesus didn't die on the cross. He just fainted and someone took him out of there and took care of him. And after that, he got married to Mary Magdalene. Is it true?
That is one timeline. Então, existem várias timelines, como que eu digo, como que eu falo isso? Uma linha
linhas
do
do
tempo diferente, né? Essa é uma delas. Existe
many
essa
different
possibilidade.
timelines?
Tem várias. Espera, eu não consigo.
Vai fazendo igual,
Eu não
senão
consigo.
lembro.
Você precisa ter calma. Existe essa é uma das realidades, digamos. Na realidade que a gente está contando, que nem no nosso livro, ele ficou como se fosse num estágio assim de meditação muito forte, que o coração dele quase não batia, mas ele não morreu. Em quase nenhuma dessas realidades ele realmente morreu e voltou dos mortos. Não. Sempre teve alguma alquimia que aconteceu, alguma coisa assim. E em todas as timelines que eu já vi, ele já era casado com Maria Madalena. Mas essa história é ótima, maravilhosa. Parabéns. Já tá ótimo, né? I can translate because he's talking here, so I think it's easier for me. He's just saying that that's one of the timelines, one of the realities, that he didn't fully die. And I can't see any timeline, and I can see like thousands, that he actually fully died. I know there is that possibility, and that was there, but in most of them, he was in a very deep state of meditation. And he didn't feel any pain, anything like that. But anyways, that's going to be in our book. We just talked about that, and she explains all of it in the book. Sarah, his daughter. Yeah. This is Sarah, his daughter, by the way. That's why we're using her, because she was already here and it was easy, but it's not too off-brand.
Yeah. All right, I think we should go. Do you want to answer something else, or does he want to share a message?
He's saying 5 more minutes.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah, sure. Was it you who activated my inner son last year?
Where is this? Oh. He's saying, well, I'll take credit for that, sure. I also see Osiris, by the way, for you. Not only him. And Ra. They are all Yeshua too. So.
Yeah. How do we reach our highest joy and fulfillment?
He's saying that there are thousands of techniques we can use for that. The one that he uses is being fully present in the moment and in full acceptance of what is. Again, surrender. So he's saying that the other thing you can do is also use gratitude to help you reach, let's say, that joy, because that joy is a state that you are, it's something that is just this flow. It is within you all the time. It's just a matter of getting into that lane, basically. So through gratitude, you are present. So he's saying that gratitude is one of the best techniques to use on earth in any case. And he's saying that like to anything you can find gratitude for. Because sometimes it feels like it's really, really hard to fully find things to be grateful for, depending on where you are, right? Depending on where you are emotionally, it's hard, or mentally. But he's saying, I am grateful for this mug. This mug holds my water. How much easier my life is because I have this mug. And he's saying, that's true. I am so grateful for the water within it. I am so grateful for the water that comes in this jug thingy, because I don't need to go, drill a hole and find water. I don't need to carry it. It's just like that. It's so easy. It's clean. It's beautiful. Find anything in your reality. He's saying, oh my God, I'm so grateful for these crystals. They ground me. They are pretty. They make noises. He's saying, find ways. Oh my God, I'm so sorry, Stella. I'm so grateful for my dog. How beautiful and loving and how much love she shares. I am grateful for this family. So he's saying, find every tiny little thing you're grateful for. And he's saying there is no going too small. I'm grateful for this book. I'm grateful for the ability to write. I'm grateful for the pen that I can use, and just empower that. And he's saying, you see how you shift from anything to love, to joy and fulfillment.
What is it to be awake? I feel I'm awake. I'm aware of who we really are, but not sure if that means being awake.
He's saying that, as with everything else on earth, it means what he wanted to mean for you. So in this whole, he's calling it like a new age belief, right? There is an awakening, and there is being awake, and there is being quote unquote asleep. We give meaning to everything. We are the ones that give meaning to everything. And how we experience things come from that, from how we allow ourselves to perceive things. So he wants you and everyone else that has this question to actually wonder about, what does it mean to be awake? And most importantly, why is it so hard for me to feel like I am? Again, self-love.
Mm-hmm.
Don's question, he's saying.
Yeah. See intense waves of energy in your room.
Yeah, that happens.
Did Yeshua have something to take notes on in his day? Like a journal or something?
He's saying, what parchment? And it wasn't easy. So no. Basically, well, he, in some moments of his life, he did have like ahead in time when he was older than the time that we know from him. And he's saying that his handwriting is beautiful, in case you're wondering, Don.
Right. Very elaborate.
Hmm?
Very elaborate.
Yeah, not easy at all. Anyways, guys, so we'll see you in 45 minutes for the blessing with Yeshua. So we're going to have an Easter blessing. He wants me to share with you just a little bit about what it is. This blessing that he's giving you is what you want it to be. He's not going to name something. I'm going to give you a blessing of something. You will sit one-on-one with him. He will lead you in this meditation. You will sit heart to heart, mind to mind. And as a mirror of yourself, he is going to present you with whatever it is that you want. That's how this blessing is going to go. So if you guys want to join us, it's on our website. The link is below.
Yeah.
There's still time to join. And if you do, you also get the portrait that I drew from Yeshua and the channeled message. And there's a symbol as well. Probably you're going to get it tomorrow, right, Flavia? If you join now, I don't think we're going to have time to send it. Maybe later. But anyways.
Not going to promise anything.
Yes.
So maybe.
Good. So, I mean, tomorrow.
If not today, tomorrow.
Yeah, yes. That's what I mean. It's like it's more right.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's not important to have that for the ceremony we're going to have now. So if you want to join us, the link is below. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Thank you for the super chat. If you want to donate, there's also a PayPal link on our website that you can use. So thank you very much for supporting us, and thank you for being here. We'll see you guys very soon.
Very soon.
Yay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.